A lot of people still never get started with apartment buildings because of what they think they know about apartments. And so I want to talk about that right now because a lot of people they never get out of the gates. They actually never get started because in their heads, they're talking about things like, I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough money. I don't know anybody with money. I don't know enough. I really, maybe, and they have questions around timing, like, oh my gosh, I'm too busy for this, or maybe the market is not right. They have all these the beliefs that we tell ourselves in our head, and every time we try to do something meaningful in life, and we have this kind of language in our head, we don't take that next step. So I can arm you with all of the power of the scaling mindset. But when I talked about some of those limiting beliefs, because what we're doing here is we're actually trying to take a major step forward in your financial future. Anytime you do something major transformational with your health or relationships, right, it's a little scary. And so I want to help you navigate and recognize the fears that you have, those limiting beliefs. And I want to kind of talk to each one of here in this next video. And maybe you have one or more of them, and this might help you kind of move past that. Because in the next further training, we're really going to get more tactile about, hey, how do I actually get into these apartment building deals? And so my hope for this video is to help you move forward and help you deal with some of those limiting beliefs and fears that you might have. And so the main reason that most investors fail to scale is that they try to apply a single family house investing mindset to scaling in real estate. And single family house investors, they try to do everything themselves. They try everything out themselves and use their own money. And as we just learned, a scaling mindset is very different. With a scaling mindset, everything opens up. Everything becomes easier because you no longer have to do all the work. You don't need to figure out everything on your own or use all of your own money. So having a single family house investing mindset is probably the biggest reason people fail to scale. And I hope we just fixed that and you just had a big aha moment yourself. But it's not the only reason people don't scale. So let me share with you several reasons most investors fail to scale. In addition to the scaling mindset, though having said that, a lot of these reasons are related to not having a scaling mindset, and I call these the stinking thinking, the limiting beliefs, the things we tell ourselves that hold us back from living our best life. So let's go through each of them, because what I want today here is I want this to be the breakthrough for you. And you can only have a breakthrough when you believe you can do something, okay? When you believe that you can do something with a scaling mindset, with a team around you. But there's also other things, these limiting beliefs. And the first one I want to talk to you about is that the first limiting belief I hear the most often is that people tell me they don't have enough money to invest to buy larger multifamilies. And they don't know how to raise money, or they don't feel comfortable asking for friends and family, or they're afraid of losing money. All those combinations are raising capital. Now, we're going to spend a lot more time on this in a later training. In fact, most of part 3 of our challenge will be about how you can raise money from others, so you make sure you attend that live or watch the replay. Because in a later training, we're going to go deep on raising capital because it's such a big objection to getting into this business. I'm going to spend like half our time in a later training on this one particular thing. Because the truth is, drives me crazy that people say this, because it's actually a lot easier to raise money than you think. Like you talked about in earlier training, you're not actually begging people for money. You're providing a valuable service to people with money who are looking for a way to invest in real estate without having to do the work themselves. And when you realize this, when you realize you're actually providing value, everything changes and it becomes much easier because you don't think that you have to beg people for money or chase people for money or learn how to manipulate people money. You're actually providing a service. And these investors actually want to talk to you because you have something that they want and they can't do on their own. And I'm going to show you in a later training how you can learn how to raise capital in literally 30 days. That's all it takes. And within 60 to 90 days, you can have $500,000 more in financial commitments from potential investors. So don't let this limiting belief stop you from scaling, and make sure that you attend the later training so we go deep on that stuff. Or let me tell you right now that this should not stop you from getting into this business. All right, cool. Another thing I hear is I don't know enough about this thing, okay? I don't know how to do it. How to invest in multifamily. They think it's an advanced strategy and that they'll need 5 to 10 years of single family house investing under their belt before they earn the right to graduate to the big leagues. Now, I talked about this earlier, okay? It's just not true. You don't need to invest in single family houses before getting into multifamily. You can learn everything you need to know about investing in multifamily in a weekend. And you can develop confidence with analyzing deals, speaking with brokers, and also with investors in about 30 days. Also, we just learned that instead of asking how questions, learn to ask more who questions, right? Because how questions are easily answered by your team of who's, right? For example, not sure if a market is good? Ask your broker. Ask your property manager, right? Ask your broker to give you all the data you need to evaluate a market, because they do. They have all this market data. Are you concerned about raising money legally? Okay, cool. Well, you could go to law school for 4+ years, answer that question, or you could leverage an SEC attorney, right? Not sure what rent growth or expense projection to put in your analysis? Well, you could do hours of research online, or you could ask your property manager. What I'm saying, right? So a lot of how questions are answered by the who's. Now, to some extent, how questions are in fact important, and you need to know enough of the how to work and manage your team. So we're going to cover a lot of the how questions in a later part of this training. I'm going to go over how to analyze deals, speak to brokers, and raise capital, so make sure you join me for that as well. Now, so be careful with asking too many how questions. The problem is that for every how question, there's another how question. And the problem is that this leads to analysis paralysis because you feel like you don't have all the answers. This can be very frustrating. Now, besides building your team, the solution is to learn to take action without knowing everything 100% upfront. And I'm trying to prepare you for entrepreneurship a little bit, because as an entrepreneur, you have to learn to deal with uncertainty, right? How can you take action without knowing everything 100% upfront? In other words, how can you deal with uncertainty? What can you do to deal with uncertainty? Because some of you are more cautious, which is a good thing, but you also tend to overanalyze things. You need to have all the answers up front before you do anything. Now, this kind of thing is super cool and important for some jobs. Like if you're a builder or developer, you better have everything planned out to the T, or your buildings collapse and people die. But as an entrepreneur, you're never going to have 100% certainty, not in real estate, well, not in business, and not in life. So if you're waiting to feel completely ready, you're going to be waiting a very long time. But if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to deal with uncertainty. And the people who succeed don't move forward because they're not afraid. They move forward in spite of their fear with the support of their team. That's the cool thing about the sport. There's a team behind you. So think of it like a flight, right? Like an airplane flight. You don't have to know how to fly the plane. You just need to get on a plane with the right crew. You trust that when you do that, the crew's been trained, the planes are maintained professionally, they're following the right safety checks, and then get there safely. So it's the same thing with something like this. Pick the right investing vehicle, which is multifamily. Surround yourself with the right team to help you get to your destination safely. Also, trust yourself. You've been successful so far, right? You know that you can figure things out. Even if you don't have all of the answers, you are resourceful and you can do this. You can move forward without knowing everything 100% up front. So what do you think? Let me know in the chat. Do you think you can move forward with something even though you don't know everything up front? But you might be thinking right now that all of this seems pretty hard, but is it really? Like, how much harder is it than buying a rental property or a short-term rental or a pad split? Think about it. Whether it's a 1-unit rental or a 25-unit apartment, you still have to analyze the deal. You still have to negotiate the contract. Someone's got to inspect the property, right? And so with a rental, it's actually even more work because you're going to end up probably managing it yourself, right? And so plus with a syndication, you're going to leverage your team, which you don't even have on a single family house. Your property manager is going to help you analyze a deal. They're going to help you with due diligence. And of course, they're going to manage it for you as well. Your attorney is going to handle the closing. You're going to learn how to raise capital in a later part of this training. So that's off the table for now. So reserve your reservations there because we're going to cover that in a later part of the training. And so besides capital, which we're going to cover later, is it really that much harder to buy an apartment building? Like besides money, is it really harder, right? There's an argument to be made that syndications are actually easier than single family house investing. And I want to play you this video from Eric Nelson. I interviewed him on the podcast, and I got this snippet from him because he said something very insightful about when he started investing in single-family houses, and then he pivoted to multifamily for the same reasons we've been talking about here as well.
It's one of the objections you hear all the time. It's like, it's so hard. Like, honestly, it's kind of not. I mean, there are things you need to do, and I'm the type of person that takes SEC and regulation and that kind of thing extremely seriously, so you need to know those things quite well. But with a team, things get easier. So when you have a few people working with you, you can do what you're good at, they can do what they're good at, you can trust people, it's so much better. Why did I think it was harder? I don't know, it's probably because of the unknown. It's probably fear of the unknown rather than actually knowing it was harder. And so once I started dug in a little bit, again, once I kind of did the research and hired the coach, I realized, oh, actually this is quite doable.
Now today he's got 1,000 units, right? So I did not prompt him to say this. I just asked him about what it was like to pivot from single family to multifamily. He talked about this exact thing, about how it's actually easier with a team behind you, right? And so you might think that it's going to take you many months or even years to get your first deal, and that may be the case if you don't have a scaling mindset. But if you were to work with us, for example, or certainly if you have a scaling mindset like we have today, there's a likely chance that you can have a first deal done in the first 12 months. And having a team behind you makes everything simpler, and it's also a lot more fun. Okay, another thing I hear a lot is I'm too busy. Okay. And here's the thing, is because it's never really a great time to start anything. You're busy with another transaction or with a job or a personal situation. But the thing is, I call this the when-then fallacy. It's like saying, when I have energy, I'm going to work out, when in fact working out is what gives you energy. So here's the thing, you're always going to be busy, right? You're always going to be busy. And there's always something going on. The truth is that 100% of the people, for example, I mean, the people that work with us, because I study them, they all have demanding six-figure jobs. And our guidance is that if you can carve out at least 5 hours per week, then you can be successful in this business. That's 1 hour per day, maybe half hour in the morning to analyze a deal, half hour over lunch to speak with a broker, or some Zoom calls or in-person meetings with investors. Okay? But I have found that time is never really the issue. It's really a matter of priority. Priority. So for example, let me give you an example. You have a full day planned, full day of meetings, and you're gonna have to work late today, and then you're still gonna pick up your kids from soccer practice by 8 o'clock. There's no time in your schedule for anything else. But then at 10 a.m., you get this sharp pain in your mouth, and it's not getting any better. So bad, in fact, that you had to cancel your lunch meeting, call the dentist, who gives you an emergency appointment at 12:30. Now, why did you suddenly find the time in your busy day for the dentist? Well, it's because all of a sudden it became a priority. So what priority is financial freedom for you? So this is why I suggested earlier you sit down with your spouse in the next day or two and discuss this with him or her, right? If you get on the same page with your spouse about financial freedom, it's going to become, or it may become, a priority for you. And if it becomes a priority for you, you will make the time. You have no other choice. If it's a priority, you will make the time. So what do you think? How important is financial freedom to you right now on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 not being important at all, and 10 being very important. Well, if you answered 8 or above, which I consider to be high, if this is really important, then can you find 5 hours per week to invest in figuring out how to become financially free? Well, you're going to make some sacrifice somewhere to free up 5 hours? Yes. But if your spouse is on board, they can probably help you with that, okay? But can you come up with 5 hours per week? Because that's all it takes. We've studied we worked with hundreds of people, and we know that that's the minimum, right? The more you can spend, obviously, the better it is. But 5 minimum, you can actually do a bunch of stuff in 5 hours a week. And this is what Jordan McNeely did. I'm just bringing him up because the fact that he is he's a power plant operator, and he's on call a lot because of it. So he works a lot of hours. He has a lot of responsibility and just had a baby. But despite this, he moved forward. Anyway, that's the big thing. He moved forward. Like, it's just not a good time. I'm kind of busy. I got a baby. And he moved forward anyway, right? I really respect that in Jordan. And he hit the ground running, got through everything. In 2 months, he had a 96-unit deal under contract. It was a $10 million deal. He found strong partners. He just followed the system and just really worked on it pretty hard. And he's actively raising capital, and he's raised $1 million so far. And he's less than 60 days away from closing that deal, well below a replacement cost. And so if Jordan can do this in 2 months while working a full-time job and having a newborn baby, can you do it? Can you commit to 5 hours per week? I want you to get very clear about this stuff. I'm throwing all this stuff out here because I'm inviting you to a journey to financial freedom. And I just want you to get clear. I want you to get clarity. Again, that's what I'm trying to do here in this training, is to help you create clarity so you make better decisions about this, if this is right for you or not. Now, a big reason, this is a big one, that most people fail to scale is that they're comfortable. Comfortable. I see this challenge with most high-income earners. They want to be financially free, but they have a problem. They are comfortable. No. It's a major problem because comfort is the enemy of freedom. I'll say it again. Comfort is the enemy of freedom. If your life is pretty good right now, you have a pretty good income, you have a nice car, a nice house, a nice family, they're healthy. You might even have a few rentals. You're making a little bit of money with real estate. Everything is pretty much fine. So why would you want to rock the boat? Why start something new, like pursuing financial freedom for real? And this is a real challenge. And if you don't overcome this challenge, you're going to be comfortable, but you're also going to be working until you retire when you're 65. Just saying. Is that what you want? Now, I'm not throwing stones here. I'm not judging, because I was in the same boat in March 2000. If you remember, my software startup that I joined in 97 went public and made me a millionaire in paper. And not only did I have a bunch of money, but I had a 6-figure salary. So what did Michael do? I got even more comfortable. 2003, I moved into our dream house on an acre lot in one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Northern Virginia. It was like our dream home. We had, our first house was a townhouse. So this was a gigantic step up. And I had the ultimate golden handcuffs. You know what I'm talking about? Type yes in the chat box if you can relate to the golden handcuffs. Now, in my case, this all changed when I read the stupid Purple book in 2005. And it made me think about the financial plan I had in place. A bunch of money with Morgan Stanley, good. Good salary, excellent. But no passive income, bad. Right? And I sat down and did the math I did earlier using the 4% rule, because my financial advisor was like, oh, well, we can grow this thing to blah, blah, blah million, right? And so it wasn't really enough for me to retire using the 4% rule, at least not anytime soon. And that meant I had to keep working for money. Bad, right? Now, I just turned 35, and I was thinking that I'd have to continue working for another 30 years until I'd be able to retire, and that was really bad. And all of a sudden, this discontent developed. I was fine, and then I read the Purple book, and I was no longer fine. And I was frustrated by my lack of knowledge about how money worked, about passive income and the real possibility of financial freedom. And then I decided right then and there that I wanted to do something about it. I wasn't sure exactly what. Certainly did not have the plan, but I was committed to a course of action to achieve financial freedom as soon as possible. So I could stop trading time for money, and that would give me options of how I could spend my time. And so if you're in a comfortable right now, you're at a crossroads. What are you going to choose? Comfort or freedom? Type in the chat box. What's it going to be? Because you can't choose both. Comfort or freedom? You know, are you okay with the status quo? And then you can type in comfort. Because fine. I don't judge you, because my goodness, comfort is very nice. It really is. But if you want something more in life and you want freedom, then type freedom in the chat. Maybe you want to commit to pursuing financial freedom right now in this call. So type in freedom. If that's you, if you were like me and that Saturday morning, I need to get financial freedom. I don't care what it takes to get it. And like, you might not have all the answers right now, because we still have a long ways to go in this training, but hopefully you can see that multifamily is the best path forward. And you can use it as a vehicle for financial freedom, not in the next 10 to 20 years, but in the next 1 to 2 years. So now you know. It's not really about money or experience or knowledge or time. It's about making a decision. So the question is, will you commit to the path of financial freedom with apartments, or are you going to let fear control you? Are you going to choose freedom or comfort? And I hope you choose freedom, because it's the road less traveled, but a much more fulfilling and meaningful one. And if you're wondering if now is a good time to get started, then this next video is for you, because I'm going to share with you why right now might be the best time in over 10 years to take action right now, especially in this multifamily market. We're going to break down what's happening right now in the market, and why all that fear and uncertainty might actually be your biggest opportunity. So don't miss this next video. And if this session helped you realize you don't want to figure this out alone, if you'd rather shortcut the learning curve and get support from someone who's already done it, then I'd love to have a conversation with you and my team. Book a free strategy call. You can do that as well. All right, so let's get into a little bit of a market update. Let's do this.